Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for tuning in to my review of the steel wheel Cutjack folding knife and also the Cutjack Urban Mini. We're going to talk about the differences between these two, size being the main thing, but some other differences as well. We're also going to compare them to a couple of other knives that kind of compare favorably against them. Talk about my experience in using them, carrying them, etc., and cover the price, specs, etc., etc., and kind of give you guys a recommendation on whether this is something that you want to add to your collection, given what it's made of, what it costs, and all that stuff. So let's get into it. So the Urban right there is the one that I got most recently and have had for the shortest amount of time. Steel Wheel sent me this one to try out and add to the review. This one I purchased a couple months ago and been carrying on and off since then. And this is also the one that I did the most testing with. So what we're going to talk about mostly is my experience in using the standard Cutjack, the Urban Cutjack Mini, more or less. Will pretty much fit into all the same qualifications, but the actual use has been a little bit less with the Urban Mini, but that's just kind of neither here nor there, but one thing I want to sort of disclose. So getting into the standard Cutjack a little bit, this guy is made of D2 steel, which is pretty nice. I like D2. This stuff holds an edge for a long time. It's nice, durable steel. It just uses very well and wears very slowly. So as steels go, you get a lot for your money with D2. Performance has been great. And the price, might as well throw that out now, on the standard Cutjack is $42.99 on Blade HQ. Great price for what you're getting. This one, made in China, you know, price kind of reflects that, but D2 steel, very, very good. We've got polymer scales on there that are, you know, kind of textured very nicely, actually, with, what do you call that? I don't know what you call that pattern, but I like it. Rounded nicely as well to be very ergonomic in hand. Also, we've got this sort of forward finger choil there in the blade itself. Easy to bring your index finger up to and kind of use in this fashion to get some fine detail work done, to do some carving, some whittling, whatever. I did some whittling with it. I'll show you a little bit of that in a second. It is a liner lock, so we have the liner right there, obviously, and then the other liner on the inside, nested within the polymer scales. FRN probably, or something similar. Pocket clip, reversible to this side, not reversible to tip down. One of the first things I did when I got this knife was go ahead and accidentally bend that pocket clip out. I don't remember what I caught it on, but that happens a lot. Obviously took it off, bent it back, real easy fix, and now it's almost too tight, but I can live with it. Lanyard hole right there, fit some paracord through that very easily, and some texturing to this whole back strap to kind of lock your palm in regards to whatever work you might be doing. In general, just a great looking blade shape, reminiscent of some of the other steel wheel knives I've tried in the past, and very good looking in general with a cool steel wheel logo right there. Some good knurling on the flipper, and that is the deployment method, the primary deployment method. So you just kind of put a little pressure there. Nice action to it. What kind of washers does it have? I can't. Oh, they are phosphor bronze. I can just barely see them. I don't know if the camera will be able to pick up that sort of gold orange in there, but there they are. I said primary deployment method when I referred to the flipper, because there is one other deployment method, and that is the shake. Yeah. The detention on this, or the retention, the detent to retain that blade in the handle, not super strong. Almost got it. Damn, come on. There it is. Boom. Get it at the right angle. It just flies right out. Super easy to deploy with no flipper, no nothing. Good thing, bad thing? I don't know. I can live with it, especially for the price, which again was about 43 bucks. So, performance of this knife in doing some whittling, let's go ahead and cover that, and what did I work on. Now, I wish I knew the name of this type of tree, the type of wood that I used here. Couldn't figure it out. Found it at a local park. It was already cut down, harvested a little bit of it, and just couldn't quite figure out what it was based on the leaves. Did my research and I don't know, pear is one of the things I was guessing that it was, some kind of a ornamental pear, but I don't think it's that. Cottonwood is the other thing I kind of thought it might be, but I don't think it's that either. It doesn't really matter. Carved very nicely, pretty easily. And what do we have here? I guess we call this a letter opener or a knife. Carving a knife out of a knife can be really fun. You know, you kind of move towards some blade shape that just kind of inspires you and makes you think it's, you know, cool looking, and it's a fun thing to do. So this one, obviously a little bit of a Bowie sort of clip blade shape to it, but yeah, that's what I'd cut or carved, whittled with the Cutjack here. Real easy to do. I would say that as far as ergonomics, hot spots, etc., none to speak of. The knife was real easy to work with. So I would say that if this became your, you know, sort of your, I don't know, camp knife or whatever, and you wanted to make a few things at camp while you were there, harvesting some branches and stuff, yeah, fun knife to carve with. Really enjoyed doing it, and I think you would too. Talking about the urban Cutjack, the mini urban, and we can see the size difference there. The difference in weight will be pretty significant too, and let's get that going actually first before we move on to the urban. So the standard Cutjack with its 3.5-inch blade, total of 8-inch in total length, comes in at 3.7 ounces for that knife. All right, and then the urban mini comes in at 3.3. So this one, much nicer steel. M390 on it, and the price certainly reflects that. $145 for this Urban Mini, and I think it's only like $150 if you jump up to the full size Urban. So definitely something to consider. As far as, you know, what you get for that price, I challenge you to find another M390 steel blade. This one made in Italy, by the way. That is this affordable. M390 is not an inexpensive steel. It's pretty nice, pretty up there steel. And you don't find a lot of knives with that steel in this price range. Again, $145 for this guy. G10 handle scales on it. That's probably some of what adds weight. And then there's the fact that the scales are not, or sorry, the liners are not nested underneath those scales as they are with the standard Cutjack. They're just exposed right there. So there's a little more metal to it, which is partly why this probably isn't as, as light in comparison to the standard Cutjack as you might guess it would be. Not a problem in my opinion. I think the weight is still very good, and we do see that it is skeletonized somewhat. You can kind of see those holes drilled out, and maybe some on the opposite side as well. Can't tell for sure. We see that both of them, pocket clips are reversible, so very good thing there. And the liner coming all the way back to the end right here, giving a cool accent, I think. You know that. And they're very polished as well, which I love about steel will. I mean, their stuff is just really, really finished, and that's very, very cool. So again, the liners there, very, very nice looking, and give a great accent to that blue. It also comes in black. Don't know if there are other colors. I would love to see some other colors, but blue is pretty sweet looking. Black, obviously, very standard color that a lot of folks will dig. And also talking about that sort of finger choil, you see that although the knife is shrunken down, and it feels like it's shrunken down more or less to scale, it's not necessarily. You can see that those finger choils are nearly the same. So if you're using the standard size Cutjack and you're used to putting your finger up there, you've got about that same amount of room in the small Cutjack, in the mini Cutjack, which is good news. I don't know that I necessarily need to choke up that far on a knife this size, but if I want to, heck yeah, I want to be able to. And so that's kind of what we get on the Mini. Just a good looking knife. Don't you think so? Or do you think so? What do you guys think about the look of it? Do you guys think it's kind of wonky looking, kind of teardrop shaped? I don't know. Personally, I think it's very, very nice looking, particularly in the closed position, open position as well. But just a great looking pair of knives from Steel Will. Cutjack and the Cutjack Mini. We should compare these knives to some other knives in the same sort of size range. Here's the standard Cutjack. Let's compare that to, well, let's start off with this guy. There's the Cold Steel Pro Light. And that one I think is like in the $30 or $40 range. Can't remember exactly. 41. What is the steel on it? It's German 4116. That's right there on the blade. And let's see. How about, it's a bit more expensive, but good size reference. There's the Paramilitary 2 from Spyderco. This one in S35 VN. Again, more expensive here, but also good size reference. Standard size grip Tillion. This one in 20 CV steel. And then what do we have here? None other than the Spyderco Tenacious in Digicam, exclusive to Blade HQ. So go check this out over their website if you're interested in it. Great price on it. Always a good price on the Spyderco Tenacious, and super good looking. Really good looking. They've also got this in black hardware and black blade. And when I say black hardware, I mean all the hardware is black. The liners, the screws, the everything, and then the black blade. So they didn't spare any, they didn't cut any corners in making that black one. It's very, very nice looking. But a couple of knives there that compare very favorably against the Cutjack. I would say of all of these, probably, these two compare very, very closely. And in my opinion, I almost think that the Cutjack is the better buy. And they're really close in price too. I think that most of the Spyderco Tenacious knives are in the $40, $45 range. I'm not sure what this one is exactly, but I think it's probably close to that. Whereas the Cutjack D2, $43, also made in China, really, really nice. D2 is definitely preferable to 8CR13 MOV. So that's something to consider, guys. Something to consider. Very, very good price for D2. Moving on to the Mini Urban. What are some knives that kind of compare to that one? There's several here. How about the Paramilitary 3 in S30V? And not far off in price. This one 145-ish. This one about 120, 125, I think. Here is the Mini Grip from Benchmade. Also comparing very nicely against it. Lighter, yeah, I would say that's a little bit lighter. This is 154 cm steel, but you can get it in S30V and spend almost as much on one of these as you would on that. You can get custom ones and definitely spend upwards of 145. Much cheaper here. What is this going for nowadays? 45, 50? I can't remember. That's the Spyderco Delica. And here's one for a lot more money, but just because it's cool. Actually, not that much more money than this, but still more money. Microtech UTX85, and you're probably not going to find this exact one anywhere because they do something really cool, Microtech, in that they kind of do limited runs. They do sort of like a bunch. I'm getting off on a big tangent here. But anyways, if you're into Microtechs, there's always new cool ones to buy. You guys want to see a UTX85 video? Because I want to make one. I want to make that eventually. I'm going to do that. Totally going to do that. And those are a handful of knives that compare favorably to both the Cutjack Urban Mini as well as the standard Cutjack. Both really nice knives, very useful, very ergonomic, and you get a heck of a lot for your money with these knives from Steel Wheel. Again, China made and Italian made. So pick your poison there. You can get this in the full size as well as as well as the Mini. I don't know if you can get the standard Cutjack in the Mini. That would be a great buy right there. I haven't seen it yet. If it's out there, again, I just haven't run into it. But great knives. Great knives. I'm loving them. And that's basically the review, guys. I'm the Late Boy Scout. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.